I want to switch gears here just a little bit, John, and talk about something we were talking about in our pre-conversation, and that's the work that I've been doing, trying to rebuild truth and trust in our institutions, our public health institutions specifically, because uh, just because in recent weeks we had an article come out about Braver Angels that featured a lot about me and my work with Francis Collins that
And gave
led.
away your real first name, I might add, which I have promised not to reveal on this show.
I think people are figuring it out now, but you know, with with that came people looking into it a little bit more and finding videos of Francis Collins and I on stage in Gettysburg, and then that went viral, and man, did that bring out some anger in some people in that
What was
internet
what was the
ecosystem.
nature of the anger? What were they mad about?
Oh, there's, that this apology is no apology, and humility is too little too late, and yada yada. It's there was a lot of ugly out there, and I try not to focus on the ugly. One of the things that Braver Angels has helped me do in the past, in recent years, John, is not focus so much on the trolls and the, those outrage entrepreneurs, but I started to be able to weed through that and pick out the positive as much as I can. But now, with that being said, I'm not gonna lie, I am also good friends with people who are uh still wildly disgusted with, and rightfully so, the actions of our government and our public health officials when it came to the government's response to the pandemic. But you had said something that I really want people to think about, in that if we don't allow people to look back on their actions and say, "Hey, I got this wrong. I got this wrong, and I'm stepping up right now, and I'm saying I got this wrong, and I may not be able to fully make whole the damage I did with what I did, but I want to try and do something to make it right." This is a stepping stone. This is a point of humility that people need to recognize, and the amount of time that it took to get this far, we need to really embrace the idea that people do make mistakes, people are human beings, and if we do not at least give some recognition for those who try to stand up and make right their mistakes, people aren't going to even make the attempt.
I'm gonna, you said that so well, and I'm going to, by way of agreeing with you, I'm gonna broaden your argument and say that all of science, all of knowledge depends on the principle that you just stated. And that's this principle. We kill our errors instead of each other. The way most human societies in the last 200,000 years of Homo sapiens have handled their disagreement is one side triumphs and kills off all the others, or banishes them, or throws them in jail, or silences them. The way you get rid of the mistake, or what you think is the mistake, is by getting rid of the person.
Hmm.
The great breakthrough of science is it realized that is no way to advance knowledge, because the people who have the power are as likely to be wrong as they are to be right. So we kill our mistakes instead of each other. The goal here is Wilk Wilkinson can have an article or make a proposition, and when it's tested, he could turn out to be completely wrong, but we're not going to kill him. We're probably, unless he committed professional misconduct, we're not going to take his job away. We're going to say, okay, what can we learn from that mistake? And Wilk, hopefully, will go on and make other mistakes that we can learn from. But that's the whole process. So what cancel culture is doing is take away the ability to make mistakes by saying one wrong word on social media and you're out. Your job is over. No one will hire you. Your reputation is destroyed. That is a society of fear,
Hmm.
not of learning. And on the other hand, take something like the pandemic. I understand that a lot of people made a lot of mistakes. How could they not? This is a situation we haven't seen in the United States since the time of the First World War. What bothers me is everyone rushing to the assumption that The other people were making mistakes on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
That it's because they were vicious elitists, or because they're pushing some kind of agenda into the schools, or because they hate people like you and me, or because they don't like Christianity and don't want us to go to church, on and on and on. The problem here is that good people working very hard to get it right are going to get it wrong.
That's
So
right.
what do we do about that? Well, in the heat of the pandemic, we make these mistakes, and yes, we're going to be upset about them. After the pandemic, it's time for after action. And that's where, instead of saying, Francis Collins got something wrong, he deserves to lose his reputation, we should all be furious at him. What needs to happen is what the military does, an after action report where you and Francis Collins and a lot of other people sit down and say, what do we learn from our mistakes? And to do that, we're going to have a certain amount of good faith that no one was trying to get this wrong on purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
just weren't. And until we cross that bridge of not confusing good faith error with bad motivation, we will not be able to learn from our mistakes.